Welcome and thank you, my friends all over the world, fellow Nigerians. Welcome to State of the Nation with Olu Fasan. Remember that you are into Blessed Bay World News and Entertainment. All right, Labour Party is a governing party worldwide. Can Obi make it so in Nigeria? By Olu Fasan, my wonderful people. Labour Party is a recognizable brand all over the world. Since the British Labour Party was founded in 1900, forming its first government in 1924. Labour Party have been established political parties across the world, becoming the governing party in several countries. For instance, Labour Party is a governing party in Australia and New Zealand. Here in Nigeria, the Labour Party produced a state governor in 2007. When Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, his candidate, was elected governor of Ondo State, yet something potentially transformational is happening, or so it seems. Unto this, in many years now, this is so many years as former governor of Anambra State, PETER Obi, joined the Labour Party and became his presidential candidate. Since then, with the emergence of the mass-based obedient movement, the party's profile has risen stratospherically. This has promoted views that the Labour Party could win just next year's presidential election or cause a significant upset to trigger a rerun. But can Obi make it, or can Obi make Labour a governing party in Nigeria? Well, first, there is an important distinction between Labour Party in Nigeria and Labour parties around the world. Elsewhere, Labour parties attract politicians and field candidates in elections who believed strongly in their ideology and values. In Nigeria, the Labour Party is seen as and used as a mere vehicle to gain political power by politicians who are disqualified with the established parties. Take Dr. Mimiko before. He ran for governor as a Labour Party candidate in 2007. He was a minister in President Olusegun Obasanjo's government led by the People's Democratic Party, of course, PDP, after the PDP twisted his attempt to run against Dr. Olusegun Agagu, the then incumbent PDP governor in the state. Mimiko joined the Labour Party and turned it into an election winning machine in Ondo State. He became a two-term governor under the party. Similarly, distinguishment forced Obi to leave the PDP and join the Labour Party on May 27th, barely 3 years later. On May 30th, he clinched the party's presidential ticket. Given those circumstances, hardly anyone would describe Obi as a Labourite, a term used for an adherent of Labour Party. What one can say is that the Labour Party gave Obi his platform to actualize his presidential ambition, although a true symbiosis can emerge between them. Yet, unto this, be told that the Labour Party's origins are so ideologically grounded that it should not be a mere vehicle to gain power. In his reasonable and seminal book, The Great Transformation, Kel Poli described how the social devastation of the 19th century caused by laissez-faire capitalism led the emergence of trade union, which later established the British Labour Party in 1900 to present the interests and needs of the working class. Put similarly, Labour Party has its origin in the can't move to resist the exploitation of workers by the landed and trading classes. Ironically, as a billionaire trader, PETER Obi belongs to the trading classes that traditionally have little in common with the interventionist authors of the leftist Labour Party. For instance, as a trader, Obi should instinctively believe in free trade and globalization, and the primary of the primary in enterprise. Of course, yet the Labour Party says it shall ensure activist developmental role of the state in the economy in being a major player in the strategic sector of the economy and would adopt a caution and step approach to globalization and liberalization. So far so good. Obi hasn't established or published his manifesto as the Labour Party's presidential candidate, of course, but I would be surprised if he campaigns on an interventionist or protectivist agenda. I suspect that the relationship between Obi and Labour Party would be akin to that between Tony Bola and the British Labour Party. It was Blair who established or who transformed the Labour Party from a statist interventionist party into a market-friendly and pro-middle class party that became electable after nearly 2 decades of consecutive electoral defeat. So we must wait to see the Obi Labour Party manifesto. Onto this, that has been said that Obi's consumption to production mantra should appeal to everyone. First, producing nations accumulate wealth at the expense of consumption nations, so Nigeria must be a producing nation. Second, production is the main source of economic growth, so focusing on production will create jobs, of course, which is why any Labour Party should support the productive sectors of the economy, such as manufacturing, because they are the root to economic growth and high employment. My wonderful people, but remember that production is not enough. You can have economic growth and still have poverty and inequality. This can happen when there is concentration of wealth and a concentration of wealth in fewer hands, and then labor's share of the national income is small due to low productivity. Both the accumulation and the concentration of wealth, including unexplained wealth and income inequality, are prevalent in Nigeria, but both are compatible and compatibly with social justice fundamental in modern economic and democratic society, and a major concern of all social democratic parties. Based on this, so as Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi can't just talk about production, he must address social justice issues, particularly inequality. Of course, income inequality is largely caused by low productivity, and the situation lies in the division of knowledge and skills. Surely, Obi and his educationist running mate, of course, Diati Baba Ahmed, need reboost educational training and the skills acquisition policies to support their production agenda. Onto this, my wonderful people, with a boost to economic and the social agenda coupled with a credible commitment to restructure Nigeria and tackle insecurity, the Labour Party, of course, under Obi and Baba Ahmed, would look vividly like a party of government. That has been onto this. Without wasting much of your time, that has been said that the structure of party competition in Nigeria is such that a trade force will struggle to dislodge either of the two main parties. Yet APC and PDP are such irredeemable parties of vested interest that only and that any other party that set out a credible agenda that serves the general interest, the national interest, and of course deserve to win next election year. So first, Peter Obi must craft a robust and credible program of government. Second, he must actively canvass for votes across Nigeria, owing women and youth critical voting demographic, and of course ensuring his obedient supporters actually vote. That way we will and he might make Labour Nigeria's next governing party. That has been these wonderful people that have been onto this, my wonderful people, from Olu Fasan, State of the Nation with Olu Fasan. That has been onto this, my wonderful people. Well, let me have your take. Let me have your take. Remember to send them and then do what to subscribe for more updates. Thanks and God bless.